They are star for retail investment. So you're trying to put this over there. You're gonna be stealing your employees from just.
Everybody's attention. Word that it's common council agenda.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then.
Those that are gathered here today in the intercivil community, we ask that the actions that are good here today by our council are actions that are benefit all of you and all of our community. For all these things, we ask in your son's name.
Amen.
Now, take a copy of the minutes. Need a motion to approve.
I'll second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of claims.
Make a motion to approve the claims.
I'll second.
Got a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. First thing on the agenda, this morning, the Board of Public Works considered the addition of Christopher Russ to the list of approved firefighters. Right now at 29 firefighters, should be at 30. Christopher actually went through training. He was in school, high school, has been working alongside stated with a close relationship with the chief and the other members of that. You know, Glenn probably knows him, but we did want to run that by the council today and ask for your approval of adding Christopher Russ to the list of approved firefighters.
The ordinance for the firefighting, volunteer fire department requires that volunteer firemen can be appointed by the mayor from an approved list, approved by the council.
I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Russ. I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, similar we have right now, Police Chief Brad Kramer.
Good evening. This morning I asked for permission from the county or from the Board of Public Works to come to you guys to request permission to hire Jake Begley as a reserve officer with us. Jake was a senior back in 2021. He graduated in 21, but that was when he did his intern with us. He's from Ferdinand, Forest Park High School. He graduated from BUJ over at Jasper with a law enforcement degree. The whole time while he was in the BUJ, he did work for the Community Correction Center, which is where he works at today as a field officer. Jake has showed tremendous interest in becoming an officer somewhere in our community, whether it be here, Jasper, the county, Ferdinand, whatever. I just want to be a part of that stepping stone for him, to get him and started on the right path. So I'm asking for permission to hire him as a reserve officer. This will take us up to 7. We did have, I think, 8 at one time, but we hired one full time, and then we had a couple of resign here recently, last couple months. So
Similarly, the mayor appoints reserve officers from the list approved by the council.
Motion to approve Jake Begley.
That's it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
thank you guys.
Before we get to John Lee's public here, I just want to say for some of you that came a little later, we did announce earlier. We do have citizens items at the end of the discussion on the Midstates corridor. We're going to limit 3 people to speak for each side, 3 minutes each. We did spend a lot of meeting time last time with the Midstates people, but we'll go ahead. So decide who you're going to speak for and against right now. Those proponents of it will go first. The opponents will go second, and then they'll have an opportunity to consider the 2 resolutions before them. Realizing that we do have one member who has some jet bounds today, so So, and when you speak, come to the podium, give your name and speak, so. All right, now John.
Council. Got a few items. I'd like to recommend the approval to amend the ordinance 2024-21 for gas voting stipend for the year 2025. The increase will keep the gas voting position competitive with the other gas utilities. I did put a couple of examples. Who we have to have weld at the IURC. And due to federal regulations, we got to have them come over and weld if we don't have our own welder. And that's the rates we have to pay for travel. And another local gas utility, they have a welder, whatever they weld it, gives an extra amount for the time to weld. It comes with a paper trail nightmare. The stipend that the bring presented, I think it's pretty fair. Gas welding position is very important to the gas department in case we have an emergency leak on our steel mains or services. We don't have to wait for somebody to come all the way from Illinois. I think it's very important to keep the gas welder in our gas system. Right now, we have 148 miles of gas main, which 66 miles of it is steel. We got over 1,900 steel gas services, plus all the businesses and all the meter sets for what steel meter sets we got to weld up. So I think it's very important that we stay competitive and maintain the gas welder. There's a lot of welders out there, but find welders to weld on live gas, dealing with federal regulations, all the online training you got to do. You send in samples every 6 months. They test them to destruction. If the pipe fails, the weld fails before the pipe fails, you fail, then you got to retake it. I think it's very important. And had the welder for several years and never had a failure yet. So I think it's very important to keep that position.
This is when he's welding only.
Pardon?
Is that when he's welding only?
No, it's stocking.
Yes.
That's just straight 48 hours.
There's hourly rates.
Yeah.
You have a proposal that would increase the hourly stipend for certified welder from $3.04 per hour to $6.80. In order to make his compensation competitive with other people.
He's spending what percent of time welding? Over 70, over 80?
It varies week to week, but near 70.
I see what he's done is great.
Yeah.
There, the time.
Just one meter set for a company was 3-4 days just to weld up the meter set. Everything's got to be precise, level.
Know where I stand. It is very, that work is critiqued and critiqued and critiqued by everybody, and they change the rules on you over and over again.
Heavily regulated by the federal guidelines.
He's finding that individual to even consider that job is the hard.
And we had him off 1 week and had a 2-hour. That was about
Small-
2-hour
Small
job.
gas solution, like $2,000 to have somebody come over from Illinois well.
Yeah, or something that's, yeah, what it took 4 hours in the afternoon.
I think it's an important position for the gas utility, its size and maintain.
So do we want to consider ordinance to amend the? What is it, 2?
We're gonna introduce it, right?
Yeah.
Is there an ordinance? This ordinance to amend salary. See, I have. Oh, I don't have, okay. Sorry.
So the presentation is ordinance number 2024-21.
But that's the ordinance that's in it. You can move around.
We're amending last.
Been last year.
It's ordinance 2025-15.
I'll make a motion to introduce number, ordinance 2025-15.
I'll second.
We have first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
If you choose, you can suspend the rules of advance consent. Consider the same, that same evening or meeting, which is introduced.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion to suspend, 1, 2, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
You move it to a top.
Okay, we got a first and a second to adopt, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We need a roll call?
Yeah. This one, Bounds, McFerrin.
Aye.
Pulte.
Aye.
Ware. Aye. 4 ayes, 1 absent.
Motion carries. Thank you.
And one other item, I'd like to get approval for the census 3-phase meters. In Core, Maine. It's the majority of our 3-phase, and to get in. 123 meters, $79,071.78. Core, Maine is the only vendor allowed to sell that meter in this area. But if I only have one full.
So I think we've been through this, the whole situation is pretty much,
It's territorial.
we have to go to this, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We've got a first, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Thanks, comes in the budget, by the way, was, Transit Director April Blessing. Gonna be okay to get up there?
I think so. Thank you. I emailed or added to your notes a request for approval for continuing reduced summer rates for students from the time school gets out until they go back. We've been doing this for a long time now, and I didn't realize that it could potentially be a problem, so Tom brought it to my attention and I talked to Phil and we need to get it approved. So.
Late Saturday, there was an ordinance, draft ordinance, added to community to amend the schedule of fees for labor transit. We're the only fee that's being changed is the summer student rate. It's going to $1 per student for one-way transfer, and round trip is $2. The typical fare is $1.50 one way, $3 for round trip, and $1 for each additional stop. See, this ordinance would set forth a new schedule of rates.
Some of this is for children that are attending some of our summer programs and
Correct.
other events, going to the pool.
Right, we're taking a kid's
So,
place. We're taking them, so far this summer, they've gone to a league stadium, they've gone to the pool, they go to the teen outback for the library program. It's pretty much all affiliated with the city, so
This is a fee that's been in
it
place
benefits the kids.
for a number of years. We just need to formally adopt it to keep it.
Is there a date range this works in, or just
I was telling Phil,
it's the summer break? I mean,
right,
Whatever schools.
summer programs. We've been taking the cheerleaders out for, at the school as well, football team, whoever needs a ride. I took flyers out, gave them to Mr. Feeney, is it? Yeah, and he passed them out to all the coaches, and we've had a lot of kids that are riding. Parents really appreciate that.
I think that as a parent, I appreciate it. I see the transit buses a lot. It's like, geez.
It's
I
not.
should
big
utilize it more
difference, it's
because
just a little difference, but it's still a reduced rate for the kids and.
yes, I have no problem with it.
and it allows a lot of kids to participate. Like, so,
When the
yeah.
parents are at work, they don't
Right,
worry about
right.
how they're gonna get there, right?
Great service.
Ordinance 7 number.
2025-16.
The motion to introduce.
Should move to introduce ordinance.
Second.
20,000.
Second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Got a motion to suspend the rules and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Get a motion to adopt. Get a motion to adopt
I'll say it.
and a second, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye. Kissel. Aye. Bounds. Stern.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Ware. Aye. 4 ayes, 1 absent.
Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Thank you.
and one other thing, we received our new 2026 van yesterday. It's really nice. It's parked out here. I'm gonna have it out there running, so you guys can check it out after this meeting. We will be turning in one of our other vehicles. It's a 2012. We had a transmission rebuilt a couple of years ago in that vehicle, but it's been costing us a lot of money, so we're planning on selling it. And the market value for that one is like 8,500, so we'll put that towards.
Before we sell, can we take the sticker off the side of the door? We still see the one we saw before, real quick. Sticker's still on.
I wanted to mention that new van. They had told me it was gonna be 139,000 last year, 139,575, and so I asked for 27,915, and it ended up being 123,671. So our local match is just gonna be 18,551. They ended up, the FTA with the grant that I wrote, they paid 85% instead of 80. So we're only, expected to pay the 15, which I felt like that's almost $10,000.
Great job.
That. Want to let you know what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have the items from City Attorney Kevin Schneider. Anything from Court Treasurer Tom Dibble?
No.
All right, we're gonna ask now if any of those, I know we have a lot of people here regarding the Midstates. For those that are for the Midstates, if you're gonna, we'll let you go first here. We're gonna, I say 3 minutes, if it's 3 minutes and 10 seconds or whatever. Get you off, but we do wanna just, I guess the point is keep it fairly brief. So because we do have I don't want everybody here speaking. We discussed it as a group here before the meeting, how we're gonna handle it. So what we want you to do is come to the podium, state your name and read what it is that you need to read. Say what you need to say. This is being recorded as well as we have JTS here with their recording of here. So that's why we want you to come up to the podium so we can hear it better. So anybody that's proponents of the Midstates, whoever wants to go first.
Okay, my name is Hank Mickey, and most of you know me. I'm resident now of Huntingburg, Indiana, which is kind of fun. Anyway, well, you know that I've been here currently as a resident for 65 years. I've been a part of this community, and it's been my heart and soul, this community. I'm currently president, CEO of OFS Brands. I've been now funded the company for almost 48 years, now president, CEO at 43 years. I'm third generation family. It's business, much 4 children now, 4th generation. They blessed me with 12 grandchildren. It's pretty special to have that kind of lineage going. In 2 years from now, in 2027, we're going to be celebrating our 90th birthday, which you're all going to be invited for that. But anyway, facts are this. Our total employee count right now locally is 1,500 people, of which 31% of those people come from outside of DuBois County, live outside. I'm traveling every day to our factories. Our total payroll is about $100 million currently annually that we pay out. Donations, for DuBois County, we have average about $250,000 a year. For Cool Springs, things we do for not profit out there is another 150,000 per year that we do. And the plan is that in the next 2 years, we want to double in size. It's the way we're going where we hope to go. We're currently running about 185 tractors that we distribute our products. That's both contract, residential, hospitality, all over the country, including Canada. You can imagine, we also actually 1.4 million in local taxes comes in. So I feel very good about that. And most of you know that we've been very much involved in just any project that goes on in Huntingburg, whether it's Market Street, whether it's the old town hall, whether it's Huntingburg itself, whether it's Southridge, athletics or whatever, we're always involved in that. With Fairmount Cemetery, whether it's the signage coming in out of Huntingburg, we're all part of that thing. And again, I want to be known too. It's important that people in our community to understand that our local industry is not a special interest group. It's a group that we are in support, funding, and needs of this local community. We've always been a part of that, and we always will be, as far as I'm concerned, as far as my family's concerned. I'm, again, proud to be a citizen and employer of Du Bois County. I love the fact that this county is entrepreneurial and risk-taking attitude, best in class in the school system. Very proud of that. I'm very talented workforce that we've got in this area. And I love what I love most about these things, the fact we have family atmosphere that is generated in this county, which I'm particularly fond of. And again, I'm very proud of the fact that we always continuously have right now currently 2.8% unemployment. Again, I want to say this, that 231 has served us well the last 100 years. This thing was built in 1930, horses and mules and whatever was built, and it served us well. And back then, I kind of looked at the population at that time, 1930, and versus 25, Huntingburg was 3,440, people. Today it's close to 7,000 people. Jasper was 3,905. Okay, and today it's about 17,000. So anyway, it's gone up a tremendous amount. 231 will not serve us in the next 100 years. It will not. This corridor not only benefit the industry economically, safety-wise, competitiveness-wise, but it will benefit the citizens of Huntingburg as well as Du Bois County. We have to remain competitive. We're going to continue to keep industry here going. It's important. As you all know, anytime you must drive here from south of Huntingburg to north of Jasper, it's a 40-minute drive. By the time you go through 18 stoplights, so trucks idling at every stop sign. Environmentally is not right. Again, I'm thinking of possibilities. What could happen? I mean, you think about us today. Where we go? We go to Louisville today. If it wasn't for Interstate 64, and the sacrifices that were made along interstates before, people, land, or homes, land, whatever, displaced. But we get on today, we drive to Louisville in less than an hour and a half. We don't even think about it. We go to Evansville in 45 minutes. We don't even think about it. We now go to Nashville in 2.5 hours from us. We need this road north-south. We need to be able to get accessibility to Indianapolis. We need to be able to be able to, which this corridor says done in less than 2 hours to Indianapolis. And be able to take advantage of the airport up there. It services direct flights for us not going to Louisville or Evansville or to Chicago or Evansville. Another hop, another plane. Well, we need that. And also need that connectivity for international flights as well. We also need that corridor to come and help train. There's no reason why Du Bois County can't be a supporter. They got 7,000 PhD engineers, high-paying jobs. There's no reason they can't live in Du Bois County and support Crane and all the things that are going on there. And again, these sacrifices are very important, environmentally good, safety-wise. One last thing. And I think it's very important. Well, I had a chief engineer. This is December 15th, 1990. Rickney house that went home to get his wife back and to our staff party. And it was a snowy, icy day, and between Dave Ring's property and the airport, he got caught with a swinging trailer, just decapitated. I still got that implanted in my mind because I had to go identify him, and also make the call to his wife. 31 is not a safe road. 32. Thank you.
We are cracking time. We give everybody extra right at the same amount of time. Yeah, I've got it written down. You get 7 too.
Yeah.
Give you time, just. Everybody getting time.
Thanks. Colton Pippins, I'm the executive director of DuPont Strong Economic Development in the county. Mr. Mankey went a little long, so I'll go a little short. I have to try and catch us up a little bit. But a lot of the questions that I receive and conversations that I have really revolve around, look what happens in other communities. Can you give us an example? What really is truly coming from some of these places that do it? So, I looked at population over time, and population is a big thing that gets brought up a lot. In 2000 in Du Bois County, it was about 39,868 residents. In 2024, it's 43,629. So a 9.5% increase almost in population. So as you look through some of the things like the Hunting report, and we really look through, what's the population growth as a county, it's really at 5.6% year to year over a 10-year period. So, it's not unheard of for this county and this population to grow and increase on those numbers. The other big piece that I went and pulled some data from the US Census Bureau around Dale, Kokomo, and Martinsville. Those are 3 that I commonly hear a lot. And I pulled median household income, all of which from 2010 to 2023, the most recent year, all of those are trending upwards as those roads start to be completed. I looked at poverty status and poverty rates. Some of these Kokomo's up at 20%, and now they're down to almost 15% poverty rate. So as things start to trend and new opportunities emerge, it really does show some economic impact. And then lastly, the unemployment percent for population over 16 and above. Places are starting at 3, 6, 7, 8% unemployment, and now they're down, about 4, 5, 3%. And I'm happy to share all this information with everyone, and I'll release this this afternoon to the press as well. But really, this trends in each of those kind of 3 big economic indicators really tell the story. Through US 231 in Spencer County, Dale gets brought up a lot, but in reality, with inflation adjusted dollars, their median household income is going up, their unemployment's going down, their poverty rates are going down, and we can replicate some of that here. What really happens is it opens up a new corridor for economic activity. It opens up more resources. And Mr. Minky's a great example of a local company investing in local initiatives. And that's really what makes the difference. As more companies look, they can go anywhere in the world. They can go anywhere in the US for the most part. It's a lot of supplier driven. It's a lot of logistics. It's a lot of people. We have people, we have resources, we have power. We have the ability to do this. And this is going to open up. We talk a lot about property taxes. We talk a lot about business taxes. When you have local companies investing in local people with local payroll, that impact just continues to spiral, continues to grow. And it really just opens up this county for more opportunities for the future. As Mr. Minky said, it really opens up a north access to Indianapolis. It connects Indianapolis all the way north, all the way down south of Bowling Green and Louisville, and with I-64 opens up Nashville market. It opens up these markets and these abilities for companies to come here, start here, grow here. And I'll leave it with that since we're a little short on time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think if we approach this, I'm Mark Schrader. I'm here tonight as chairman of the RDA. David Drake, is also on the board. David, I guess unofficially represents the Huntingburg area, on the RDA board. So I'm speaking for the RDA. What we had hoped to do, in the time we thought we had, was to talk a little bit about, we need to deal with the facts. not accusations, not made up numbers. In that light, I've got a handout that I think most of you may have received by email. But that would that talks about honestly the opposition's resolution and clarifies some points relative to what is said in that. And for full disclosure, for everyone involved, there are extra copies. If anyone here would like some, they'll be up front. As I said, I am here representing the RDA, just as a little bit of background. And I believe all of you on the council, maybe with the exception of Pam, were on the council when you voted in August 2017 to form the RDA. And when the board was appointed by the elected representatives of the government members in May of 2018. Now, in spite of what you may have seen on social media or letters to the editor, the formation of the RDA certainly wasn't unconstitutional, and the structure is very similar to what you utilize in various boards and commissions laws where members are appointed by elected officials. In essence, the RDA board members serve at the pleasure of the government members and work for you, the elected officials. You know, since that appointment in 2018, the RDA board has worked diligently to do what you charged us to do in terms of working with NDOT and on behalf of the RDA members to complete the NEPA studies, which will determine the federal highways stringent, under federal highway stringent rules, what is the best overall alternative to address north-south connectivity in the region, and more specifically in DuBois County. You know, that NEPA Tier 1 study was completed in September of 23. And it established a preferred alternative for the new corridor and outlined 4 separate sections of independent utility along the route. The Tier 2 study for DuBois County portion of the corridor was initiated in July of last year and will identify facility type and exact right-of-way location. The draft findings for that study are currently expected to be available next fall. And I really wanted to share that with you because I want to assure you that despite the claims of the opposition leadership, the findings of these studies are not corrupted, and they are solely based on NEPA guidelines, which are the result of years of experience by both NDOT and Federal Highway. Study findings have not been influenced by the RDA or any other party. And as a participating agency, the RDA board members are under the same conflict of interest policy as all NDOT employees and NDOT contractors. Additionally, the RDA can only be an advocate for what has been determined by the study. And therefore, we are not advocating at this time for a specific facility type. I want to note on record that we're specifically disclaiming any endorsement of a 4-lane expressway that is referenced in the resolution that you have in front of you. And that's the recommended facility type for the DuBois County portion will be determined by the Tier 2 study. So with that front end, I ask you, as you consider the 2 resolutions before you this evening, why would you consider withdrawing your support when you're this close to finishing the completion of the Tier 2 study relative to DuBois County? You know, what's changed? Certainly the traffic issues in our community haven't improved during these past 8 years. And that study will give you very important information that you need to have relative to your comprehensive plan. I think, you know, we do a good job planning in DuBois County. I think Ferdinand, Jasper, Huntingburg, and the county are all having comprehensive plans out there. You need this study. You know, there's a saying in planning that failing to plan is planning to fail. So thank you for what you do. And so, you know, to the essence of why we're here, you know, I understand that everyone's concerned about those potential impacted by the new road. But the reality is that unless we're satisfied to indefinitely live with the inadequate north-south infrastructure currently in place, this issue isn't going away. The opposition leadership repeatedly states we should just improve existing 231. Putting a Band-Aid on the existing roadway with a few improvements here and there won't help. The Tier 1 study did include a no-bill option and fully considered trying to fix the issues by doing what would be needed on the existing 231. That approach sounds good. It sells well, but it doesn't work. The preferred route was chosen because it had a relatively low number of impacts and had the highest overall performance of all the options. The improvement of existing 231 had the highest number of relocation impacts, about 3 times the preferred alternative, and the lowest performance of all the options. Now, I wish, I know as you do, there was an option that wouldn't impact anyone else, just about there. But that's not possible. Whatever we do, it will unfortunately impact those residents along the route, regardless of the route chosen. As leaders, it is our duty to pursue a course of action that minimizes adverse impacts on individuals while maximizing overall outcomes for the majority of our residents. That's exactly the approach taken by the Federal Highway Administration's NEPA studies, which was the basis for the selection of the preferred route. So, in closing, I'm here this evening on behalf of the RDA, asking you to support the continuing resolution reaffirming the council's historic support for the Midstates Corridor project. We're not here asking you to decide about any relinquishment matters. We're not here to ask you to make any decisions about future funding. We're just asking you to allow the RDA to finish what you originally asked us to do in terms of facilitating the required federal highway NEPA studies within the region. Thank you for the consideration.
So I've got a total of 17 minutes that will allow. Thank you, Mark. Whoever picked on here.
May I? You can go first.
Council members, mayor.
Thank you. By the way, we knew everybody would go over a little bit, so we thought we did too. You take 5 or 6. And,
Hoosiers.
yeah.
So my name is Mason McCoy. I'm a resident of Martin County. I own property and businesses in DuBois County. I've got a lot to cram into 3+ minutes. I'll get right to it. So for over 40 years, your constituents have patently rejected this new road. It's been tried and tried, studied and studied. 5 studies previous to the current one said that it wasn't viable, that it wasn't fiscally responsible, that it was a bad idea. Undaunted, those in favor of the road continued to pursue it, and only through Mike Braun and Mark Messmer's writing of Senate Bill 128, which took the power and the opinion out of these people's hands and placed it directly into what I consider to be a corrupt regional development authority, in my opinion. Did this project gain some ground again? With regard to the Regional Development Authority, California right now, after 20 years of grift, corruption, and unethical business practices on the part of RDA and their members, they banned all their RDAs. I don't believe that in a few years from now that an RDA will be allowed to exist here. I heard Mr. Schroeder and I heard Hank Minky talk about the RDA. There's nothing wrong with them. Anybody, I don't need a doctorate of jurisprudence to look at German American Bank's stock value before Senate Bill 128 and German American Bank stock value after Senate Bill 128. I'm a capitalist. I'm a right-wing conservative Republican. I'm all about the money, okay? But when you have people on the RDA board who control these people's lives, have a huge stake in whether or not this road gets built, and they have an enormous amount of power, there should not be a conflict of interest, right? German American Bank and its board of directors have been pushing for this road. No big deal, right? Those people shouldn't be sitting on the Regional Development Authority. They should be in no positions of power whatsoever. You don't put the person who controls all the sand and the gravel and the concrete and the pavement in charge of whether or not this road gets built. You don't do that. You don't put David Drake, who's, according to his Facebook profile, a $6 billion coal mining magnate,
controlling all the heavy equipment. It screams grift, it screams conflict of interest, it screams corruption. It was never supported for 40 years. It only is now because of Senate Bill 128, because Hank and Mike want it. They want the road. Mr. Schroeder's assertion that 231 just doesn't cut it. NDOT says 231 is at 24% capacity. I live on 231. My family's had ground along 231 for 120 years, right? There's not a problem with 231. The Hunden study, the Hunden Corporation is a marketing firm. We can't look at one study and say, well, yeah, the Hunden people say that it should be there, so it should be there. The overwhelming majority of your constituents, I'm at 4 minutes now. The overwhelming majority, thank you. The overwhelming majority of your constituents are vehemently opposed to this road. I want to talk just real briefly about the RDA. You know, in court the other day, Jason DuPont testified in Judge Verkham's court that they were commissioned to do a study that would affect 13 counties. Yet only Spencer County, Du Bois County have representation on the RDA. When Martin County, the county that I lived in, was asked if they could join, right? They said, if you'll play ball. They met in secret in the basement of German American Bank, right? The commissioners. And they were told by members of the RDA, two of whom are sitting in this room right now, yeah, we'll let you be on the RDA as long as you don't oppose the road. To me, that screams corruption. As far as following the NEPA guidelines, in my opinion, the Lockmuller Group is in no way following the NEPA guidelines. Peel back the curtain just a little bit, look into that, you'll see. They've been hired to give Hank and Mike the result that they desire and that they want. Okay. Everyone in favor of this road, and I'll close with this, everyone in favor of this road right now is under public indictment. Right, every elected official right now who's in favor of this is under public indictment. Okay, I won't be satisfied until the people behind this are under criminal indictment. I'll say one more thing. Mr. Schroeder said, what's changed? What's changed between then and now? Mike Braun and Mark Mesmer slipped Senate Bill 128 in on us. That's on us. Every single person here is responsible for who we vote into office. Mark says we don't live in a democracy, we live in a representative republic. You don't get to vote for what you want. You elect somebody and then they decide what's best for you. And we were all asleep at the wheel. Okay, but now people aren't asleep anymore. So this is a very small amount of people that are here right now. The overwhelming majority of your constituents aren't going to have it. They're simply not going to have it. Thank you. For the record, my comments are solely mine, and my opinions. I don't represent anyone else here today. For the record.
So we're at 6 minutes and 11 seconds where we're at. Anybody who else would like to? I know we have some people. Thank you, by the way.
You are, well,
I know you would.
No, I'm gonna be Mark Nowatarski, with the Property Rights Alliance and the Coalition Against the Midstates Corridor. I'm gonna be very brief. First of all, I want to thank Attorney Schneider. When we came here 2 weeks ago and turned in our resolution, he went ahead and transformed it into the official format, and I appreciate that very much. I spoke a lot 2 weeks ago, so I don't think I need to speak much, but I handed out everyone a packet of information. And the packet of information that I gave you included the facts that we talk about all the time. And I asked everyone on the council to go ahead, if you would, and try to look at the data, try to go back to the tier 1 study, even if it's just the summary, and look at the facts that I have in there, and the tier 2 and the facts. Those are all facts that I'm using and have been using when I present to your council, when I present to the DuBois County Council, the DuBois County Commissioners. They're not made up, they're not exaggerations, they're not projections or assumptions like you see in the throughout the draft environmental statement, the final environmental statement, and also the tier 2 document. So thank you for your time. That's all I have.
Thank you. So we got about 8 minutes and about 15 seconds, I believe. Oh, never mind. 9 minutes, I'm sorry.
Everybody else has been tall. So my name is Teresa Kendall. I live in Jasper. And I am a person who's lived here for quite some time, but everybody knows I'm not from here. I do want to bring up the idea of, I've said this publicly many times. I am from that Kokomo area that Colton brought up. Kokomo's got a very high unemployment, a very low unemployment rate because Chrysler has moved all of their manufacturing facilities there. Has nothing to do with the roads that are there. The roads that are there have been there forever. And that's made no improvement in Kokomo. So if you drive any kind of a Chrysler product, it's made in Kokomo. So anyway, bypasses kill towns. It's plain and simple, they kill a town. When you put a bypass around any town, whatever it is incorporating, whatever it closes off, it's gonna, that area right there is gonna die. And everything from there will move over here to that. And then you come up with cities like Kokomo that has the original 31 and went through it. Then they built another bypass. They built a bypass in the 60s. They built a bypass in the 70s. They built a bypass in the 80s. And the last one was in the 90s. The bypass. And the town has slowly died as it goes along. And all those bypasses go to the same point. And at that point that where all those bypasses are is where there's this giant Chrysler facilities. Because they still get on 31 and they can still get to where they want to go. When people talk about connectivity and this road being connecting, whatever it's going to connect, 31 has excellent connectivity. I was just on it today. And I got up to 69 with no problem, and I got back down here with no problem. And it would be the same amount of time with that road is there. So one of the things I think we need to look at is the big picture, is that a bypass drastically alters a community. Think about the little bit of bypass that happened in Jasper back in the 80s. All that bypass did was make a road go closer to a specific business that a business may want to have done. It didn't really do anything to help the people of Jasper, and it destroyed the farmers and homeowners that lost their land. So we have to think very carefully, very, very carefully what we're going to do to the people. The RDA wants to talk about all the business and how the business is what we need. We do need the business. And we do need for people to stay here and work. And I understand that they need people. That road isn't going to bring them. That road isn't going to do anything. It's not going to help traffic in Jasper or in Huntingburg. Who's going to get on that road to go from Huntingburg to Walmart in Jasper? It takes you way out of the way. They're not going to do it. They'll still drive through 231, excuse me. I'm so sorry about that. What this comes down to is this work destroying the lives of the people that live here in DuBois County? Is it worth that? Would you be willing to give up anything that you have so that you can make it easier for some person to get supposedly have the connectivity that already exists? It's just going to shave off maybe 5 minutes. So the important thing to remember is the big picture and the long-term effects. Just like they spoke of, Jasper has grown without that road. Huntingburg has grown without that road. If you remember the census of 2020, there were only 2 places in the state of Indiana that the population grew. That was Indianapolis and DuBois County. We were the only ones that grew in 2020. And that had nothing to do with whether we have a road or we don't have a road. People come here to live because this is a great place. I left Indianapolis to move here because it's a great place. And what I think one of the things that we have to remember as people who are leaders in your community and in the county, and those of us that are trying to preserve the life that is fantastic in DuBois County, it can't be replicated anywhere else. Business is important, but we've got to remember, people don't live to work. They work so they can live, and this is a great place to live, and that road is really going to destroy the quality of life here. You know what?
Name's Lee Vogler, I'm a lifelong resident of Romneyburg. Actually worked at OFS for several years. I have several $2 bills. Thank you. For my birthdays. Thanks for that. I'm all for growth and improvement. I think everybody is, depending on the circumstances. But I'm completely against the new terrain highway. I'm not sure why the county council or any resident would want to. They were going through town to pass the Stella community and 4th Street alone. It doesn't make any sense for what we've been doing. There's west of Holland or west of Ireland by certain people's houses or properties. It would completely change certain people's opinion. They wouldn't want the road either. I think it's fitting that a member of the RDA said there's no conflict of interest. It's right there. Whether it matters or not, could be a conflict of interest itself. A wise man once told me, if you have to tell someone about your donations, you did it for the wrong damn reasons.
Yeah.
Do it every time.
Yes. My name is Marissa Dirkholz. I haven't spoken. I don't have much. I haven't spoken to you all yet, but I have been to the City Council of Jasper and the County Council of DuBois County. Somebody asked what has changed since you all first supported it. One of the big things I can think of that's been in the news over the last month is you guys would have to take over 231. That's a huge expense that I don't think was very clear when they started the tier 1 study, that, hey, if we go down this road, you guys are gonna have to take over 231. So that's something that, as financial stewards of the taxpayer money, you guys will have to consider. And then, state of Indiana doesn't have even enough money to maintain the existing road, so how can we build a new road? Economic impact, it's talked about all the businesses that this would bring in possibly and new people. Well, okay, then it's not just about a road, because once the road's built, then they're gonna build neighborhoods, then they're gonna have companies coming in and taking people's land. It's not gonna stop with the road. It's just a land grab, land grab, land grab, like Teresa was talking about. It's just gonna keep moving out, moving out. And then the purpose and need that was stated to the public in the public meetings back in 2019, I think it was, they changed along the way. So we were told one thing. I know that it was talked about a lot, that it would improve safety and congestion. Well, no, actually, when they looked at it, it's not. And that's why they took that out of the, it's a secondary goal of the purpose and need now, and it's not a primary goal like it was originally. But that's how they got people to kind of agree with it, right? Was that it was about safety and congestion, but that's not what it's about. And then, yes, there are appointed officials to other boards, but the RDA is a little bit different in that it takes 75% of the total members to get rid of an RDA member. Every city, town, county in the RDA has a vote, and 75% of them have to vote that way. Because each appointed member of an RDA doesn't represent a specific unit. So I got those notes from my sister because I don't understand all that. But just some other things to consider. Thank you for listening and considering all of our input.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from the council members? Questions? Anybody? No. We do have 2 resolutions. We have 3 options there, I guess. One of those is to approve. If you want to explain the 2 resolutions, we need to give them.
Essentially, you've all seen the resolutions. They've been distributed some time now. But each of the resolutions, the resolution in favor and resolution opposed, recites various factual positions for their position. The resolution in favor merely resolves that the city of Huntingburg supports the efforts by Midstates Corridor Regional Development Authority and NDOT in connection with their efforts to study, develop, and construct Midstates Corridor in Du Bois County. After reciting various facts, at least versions of facts, the resolution in opposition resolves that Common Council of the City of Huntingburg, Indiana opposes and will no longer support the continuation of Midstates Corridor New Terrain Highway project and any other alternative other than the previously identified improvements for the existing US 231. Nor will we authorize the additional dollars to this project. Those are the two resolutions. I won't read the entire resolutions unless you want me to, but we've had them decide their own versions of the facts to support what they're asking. But without, obviously the resolution in support this resolve to continue council support of this nation forward in its efforts to develop, study, develop, and construct. And the opposite, resolution opposed is a resolution resolving that the city should oppose any further support of continuation of the Midstates trade. Or any share, any simple alternative other than proofs that it used.
The options are to make a motion to accept one or the other, or nothing, I guess, sort of
Or you could table and you may have further considerations and study that you want to do on your own.
I think I would like to make a motion to table it. I feel like, especially with Jeff not being here, I think this is a huge decision. I would like us to everybody to have a voice.
And I still have a lot of questions about the construction. As mentioned, that I'm sure we can't afford to take over 231. We need to figure out how this is going to pay for. There's a lot of questions I have before I can say yay or nay. So I agree, man,
I'd also encourage council members to read the information packet Mr. Schrader gave you, as well as the information packet that the Property Alliance Group gave. I think it was in May. It sets out that, at least the support for the various positions. It may raise some questions in your own mind that aren't being answered. That you feel like can be answered.
I agree with the payment plan. To table this, we still have a lot of questions yet. That's going on. Yeah, I think there's negotiations still going on right now. And between the mayor and the council and the county, Jasper. So until we get some more information yet, I think we're still too early to say yes or no. Who knows how this book could happen. 2 and 2, most fifth person here break the time. So because of that reason, I'm gonna make a motion to table to a later date.
Got council person Voltage made that, and your second. Table. Yeah,
I said
yes, okay.
So we come back.
Sure, I can take it a little. I guess we'll do that. You hear all those in favor of tabling?
All right.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries to table the decision. If further information is available. I encourage both sides to reach out to our council members with give them all the information. I do believe, one thing that I'm happy about this has not been a back and forth argumentative sessions that we've had with either group. And I feel, I want to thank you for that. For being professional in the meetings, for being able to present your facts passionately. All of you are passionate. And when passion starts hitting, it starts hitting hurts sometimes. I can feel the passion in your voices and know that you're serious about what you're saying. So we will table it.
And
The other,
it's a decision that we are not taking lightly. So I think that's the reason why I feel more comfortable tabling it, because we do want to make sure that the decision we make, we do with good conscience and one that would be feel good about.
thank you. Any other council items?
To adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn? Also. First and second, all those in favor? Any opposed? Join, 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you all. Show. Show.
Yeah.